Wilson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Luckenen certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable. Bonjour and bienvenue. Hello and welcome to La Belle France for round 6 of the World Sidecarcross Championship. We're in PLOMION, northeast of Paris and very close to the Belgian border and in scorching hot conditions. This really is a beautiful area full of bars and restaurants, but we're not here to party, well, not yet anyway. Let's get on with the job in hand. Just sit back and enjoy what's coming up.
After many years, World Sidecarcross Championship returned to PLOMION, France. Weekend was action-packed as the fight for the red plate was still going very strong. Qualifying day showed how fast this track can be, and it was not only fun for spectators to watch but for riders to race on. Race day was hot as teams fought in blazing heat. Competition was never ending. Who won the GP? Who walked away with the red plate? You'll have to watch and find out yourself.
The season kicked off in the deep sand of Lommel. This was home ground for the reigning champions, Marvin van Luckenen and Ben van den Bogart. They did not disappoint and took overall victory. No race wins yet, but that would change. Then it was off to Spain, where Valentin Giraud took race 1 glory to the delight of his new German passenger, Andres Haller. Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupilis wanted that red plate, but their day would come. Round 3 in Holland, and that sealed the deal for Bax and Stupilis. Double race wins and overall victory meant the red plate was here to stay on the 82 bike, or was it? Kramelin in the Czech Republic, and the battle was really on. Double winners here last year, Van Luckenen and Van den Bogart mastered nightmare weather conditions, but they pulled off double victories. Etienne Bax had problems.
We had a slight problem with the exhaust in the second motor. We are 6 points in behind of Van Luckenen, so nothing really big problem.
Round 5 in the Ukraine was all Bax and Stupilis with double wins. Marvin and Ben lost the red plate again.
The first race we make a big rush, and yeah, we need to start from last position to 5th, but yeah, Bax win this race, so it was a lot of points for losing us. We had a crash like we never had before together, Marvin and me. Yeah, small injuries, but I think on the end of the weekend we could be happy, but it could be worse, and we are still 6 points behind the leader, so the pressure is still there, and I still believe that we can fight for the title.
They made up for it with 2nd place in race 2, but the red plate had gone. Koen Hermans and Nicolas Musset, winners in Spain, also crashed after 2nd in race 1.
Yeah, we have some points, and the second motor we crashed, and that was yeah, not good for the points. The gap to the first place is bigger, but still 3rd in the total, so yeah, we are still happy.
Kurt Varrick and Loris Dieders were on the podium, but it was red plate time again for Bax and Stupilis. And that's how they came to France. A 6-point lead at the top of the table for Bax and Stupilis over Van Luckenen. Koen Hermans, despite that crash, still hanging in there in 3rd. Sanders going well. Brown still very much in the hunt. Arne Jerkins, can he stay the pace? He certainly gets it out of the gate. Further down the order, Van Verven going well. Veldman's still injured, so he's not here. British crews acquitting themselves well. So you're bang up to date as we come to France, round 6 of 14, almost the halfway stage. We visit 10 countries on our WSC journey, and this week we're here very close to Belgium. France has a long history of Sidecarcross, and the fanatical French fans were rooting for their heroes in what I have to say was glorious weather.
Hi, and welcome to this week's track walk here in PLOMION. My name is Steve Randall. This track here in France is very spectacular, hard pack, and we will have some fantastic racing for you this weekend. I am joined by Valentin Giraud. We will discuss about the track and look at the track. This track is very special, and very special to you being a Frenchman.
Yes, this weekend is my home GP, so it's always good feeling for me to drive in my country. I hope and I think there will be a lot of spectators this weekend, so I think the atmosphere will be really good. The track here is technical, it's hard pack, that's what I like, but here the ground is very hard with a lot of stone, and we always have difficult to find the grip on that kind of track, and it's what makes technical this GP.
Good. We will now go to another part of the track and show you some more. So now we have moved to one of the technical parts of the track. We have a step down into this 180-degree corner behind us into a double down. This part of the track, Valentin, is very critical. Line choice is very critical, and speed.
Yes, of course. We have here, after this right corner, 3 jumps in a row, 2 double. Here we are on the first one. Not a big one, I think something like 10 meters, but quite short from the corner. So the line in the corner is quite important to be able to jump this first double. Of course, the best line is inside, because it's the shortest line, but it makes the jump a little bit harder.
Yep.
Yeah, and the safety line is outside, you have more speed to jump, it's easier.
So this is the double down. We'll now take you to the double up. What's going through your head as you approach this jump?
Yeah, this one is the biggest one, the big step up. Actually, doesn't matter which line you take, right or left, both are good. But the most important thing to jump this big one is to jump the small one before. You can't jump this big step up if you don't jump this small one. So yeah, everybody will be focused on the corner and the small step up, and then the big one will going easy.
So you've seen a few parts of the track now. This part is very technical and will either make you time or lose you time. Let's hope we see some exciting racing.
Qualifying, of course, as important as ever. Teams all quite relaxed just before, or were they? Maybe not Casper's.
Free practice, we had some bike issues, the same like in Ukraine, and yeah, between the 2 sessions, mechanics and the engine builder didn't have so much time to fix it, so we are a bit late for qualifying. So yeah, it was very difficult to drive in the engine a little bit, to warm up the engine, and then set in the last 2 minutes the quick lap time. So it was difficult for us, but let's hope from now on the day will go and the weekend will go on the good direction.
Home ground for Valentin Giraud. He's sort of going, really, so no pressure. Young Andres Haller has tasted victory once this year, and he wants more.
I have a good feeling on the track. Yeah, at the moment everything works good, the engine. Andres also did a good job on the sidecar, and we enjoy the track, and the speed is here, so it's good. I feel good enough to drive. It's not so painful at the moment, but now I start to feel a little bit after two sessions. I think this evening and maybe tomorrow morning will be a little bit more painful, but I think it's on the track. I don't feel so much. It's good enough.
Two groups. Group A then get off for their qualification race as a flying start by Koen Hermans. Stuart Brown was going with him as well, but the number 2, Hermans and Mousset, got the lead. Justin Koiben, number 17, Dion Rietman, he was right in there. And a local French crew, Johan Marquis and Geoffroy Lelage. The French crews always go very well on home ground when they get a Grand Prix coming to town. Koen Hermans, though, wanting to get out in front, because I can tell you, there were an awful lot of loose stones around this place. You can see them littering the side of the track. They wear body armour. Yes, they've got helmets. Yes, they've got a face mask. Yes, they've got goggles, but you still don't want a stone in the face. The French crew giving a good account of themselves. Marquis holding off Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain, but the British crew took the advantage on the inside line, threw it in. It was a block pass, and the French crew had nowhere to go. Christophe Santomans and Kostas Beletskas were in there fighting in 5th. Jake Brown, number 28, he and Joe Millard also going well. Out in front though, Hermans and Mousset just loving the sunshine here, loving the hard packed conditions. Winners already of a race earlier in the season, sitting 3rd in the title. Coming here, they know they have to score good points. Stuart Brown, like so many of the British crews, will have been over here in France on French forays, earning prize money in non-World Championship events. Etienne Bax and Casper Stupelis were playing catch-up coming through the field. They were very quickly past the Marquis Lalage French outfit, knowing that they had to score good points here, having only had a very, very small practice session, coming late to the line and starting from way down the order. Compilati, the Italian, some hand signals there. I wasn't quite sure what that was about, but he obviously had a problem because the French crew sailed past him over the jump, and he was then to fall into the clutches of Kurt Varick and Loris Dieders. Etienne Bax, Casper Stupelis meanwhile making their way past Santomans and Beletskas. Koiben and Rietman would be next on their hit list as the number 82 red plate of Bax charged through the field. Out in front though, Koen Hermans were looking really, and Mousset looking really good. Varick and Dieders then on the back of Santomans and Beletskas. Christophe Santomans, a strong rider, particularly in the sand, and young Kostas Beletskas, the Latvian passenger, loving his time with him. Varick and Dieders having made their way past Koiben and Rietman, the number 17 Belgian crew. Kurt Varick loving this hard packed stuff. He's a tough man, a hard rider. He, Loris Dieders, vastly experienced. Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain holding a good, strong position, and that would guarantee them a brilliant start line place for tomorrow's Grand Prix races. Etienne Bax, it was in 3rd. 2nd went to Brown, but Hermans and Mousset took victory in qualifying Group A. Brown over in 2nd, Etienne Bax it was in 3rd, but there's no mistaking the winner, and a brilliant ride for Hermans and Mousset. There it is then, victory for them. Brown, you saw that battle. Varick going well. Bax, of course. But it was an impressive victory for Koen Hermans and Nicolas Mousset.
We do a good start, and after 5 minutes the gap was enough to control our race. So it was a really nice race. The track is coming really hard now, and it was fun.
Group B, and it was just as hot when that left the line. An absolute flying start for the number 10 Arne Dierkens, but there were 3 of them all together, because going right with them, Marvin van Leeuwen and Valentin Giraud and Andres Haller in the red shirts were on the inside. Those 3, you could have got them all in the back of a long wheelbase Ford Transit. They were so close. But Marvin van Leeuwen knew that if he had to have any hope of reclaiming the red plate, he would need pole position for tomorrow's gate. He very quickly slid on the inside of Arne Dierkens and Robbie Bax, and Valentin Giraud and Andres Haller still in 3rd, did what they needed to do. Also going well, number 9 Davy Sanders and Larry Kunas, as they always do. They always get out of the gate and they always give a good account of themselves when it matters. Van Lukener got his head down at the front, and Giro there just holding station behind Arne Djerkins, who has earned the reputation of being something of a whole-shot kid. The stones littering the track, you can see them on the banking, everyone using that berm to their advantage to drive off. Not so the left-hand sidecars. That would be even more difficult for them. They would tend to take the inside line. Arne Djerkins holding second place though. Full knowledge that Valentin Giraud would be pressing him, and the Frenchman, of course, with the local fans here with their air horns going, their bladeless chainsaws revving. Such is the fervour of the French fans under these cloudless skies. There was a real party atmosphere cheering for the local riders. In fact, Giraud, very, very popular, of course, when he comes to France. Out in front, Van Lukener and Van den Boogaard making absolutely no mistake. A look over the shoulder from the reigning champions to see where the chasing pack was, and it was looming large in the shape of the number 10 crew, Arne Djerkins and Robbie Bax, who had opened up a small cushion over Giraud and got themselves a breathing space. Valentin Giraud, having grown to understand the mega power after using Husqvarna for the last 2 seasons, the 2-stroke Austrian-built Mega now serving him well. In 4th place it was Sanders and Kunas, somewhat remotely, having a lonely ride down there, but that's all they needed to do. They would know that they would be in the top 8 for pick of the gate for tomorrow's Grand Prix races. The field getting quite strung out in Group Qualifying B, because the pace at the front was so fierce, with Van Lukener just pushing and pushing and pushing. More French talent going well, and the local guys, as I say, giving a good account of themselves here. Gert van Verven, number 14, closing down the Frenchman. The number 116 outfit of Willy Bouquet being relegated by Van Verven and Peter Bunk. Meanwhile, still charging very hard, Dylan Bussy, number 35, another Frenchman, in the thick of the action. That was not the case for Marvin van Lukener and Ben van den Boogaard. They were clear out in front, showing a clean pair of heels and heading for the checkered flag and a guaranteed top spot and choice of the grid in tomorrow's races. They were chased all the way by Arne Djerkins and indeed Valentin Giraud. Davy Sanders as well acquitted himself fantastically, and they're the guys at the end of it in the paddock box, knowing that's a good job well done in Group Qualifying Race B. So those are the top 12 who go through automatically. You saw that race at the front, Van Lukener, Giraud, Djerkins, Sanders. But it's victory for Marvin and Ben.
Yeah, of course we had a really good result. We in the first lap we could take Giraud and Arne immediately, and then we could make a small gap and try to control the race. Feeling was good. We tried some other lines for tomorrow, so we are very happy about that. And I expect a lot of spectators and a lot of nice battles tomorrow.
We talk a lot about last chance. We're going to focus a little bit on last chance. Let me explain the rules. 24 go through automatically. There's room on the grid for 30. And those 6 places are fought over by anybody who did not make it in the top 12 in each of the 2 qualifying groups. They have to go against the clock, and we pick the top 6 to join the grid for the Grand Prix races. So these are the guys as they line up tomorrow. All the big names are in there, of course. Hermans will be looking for another win. Bax obviously wants to really go well. Marvin van Leeuwen wants to claim the red plate back. There's going to be so much for all these guys to go at, and it's going to be a massive lineup on this very fast stony circuit. The British crews have all acquitted themselves very well, with the Browns father and son in with a very big shout of big points tomorrow. These guys further down the order are going to have a dickens of a job with the dust and stones, I can tell you. But the 6 from Last Chance, well, they'll be in there fighting, that's for sure. Well, with Last Chance coming up, the tension was really high. You know, this is a nervous time, and even the best fall foul of it.
If you have as team a setback and you need to go to the last chance, I think for every team is the same. You know, you don't want to be in the last chance because it's the end of the day. It should be finished already, and then you still need to go for a fast lap. And there's no chance anymore after that. So if that lap goes wrong or you have technical problems, you're just out.
For teams like us, we are quite comfortable because we know we're fast enough. But for the less experienced teams, it's a situation, yeah, all or nothing, and then they have to take risks and raise their limits. I think it's quite stressy there, and especially in the last laps, yeah, you see a lot of crashes, and with the high jumps, it's yeah, really nasty sometimes.
Yeah, it's stressful, I can tell you. Not least of all because there's some prize money hanging on it. No qualify, no start money.
This is way out better because you know, many people come watch the Saturday, and Saturday is a nice day with 2 motos, and then if something happens, you still have a chance to qualify through the last chance. I think this format is way out better.
So have everyone another chance, and yeah, it's again the fastest team that she can go for on Sunday races.
So that's what Last Chance is all about. If you don't qualify, you don't get your FIM start money. Even the best have had experience of that.
Yeah, if I remember good, it was 2001 or 2002 in Os, GP of Holland, and we came with the last money to qualify and do the GP, but we did not qualify, so we had only money for the fuel and just for the travel way back home. Did not have money for the food or something like that. So yeah, I clearly remember those first 2 years. But obviously, I have been quite lucky to ride with the good riders later on in my career, and with a lot of world champions. So yeah, I have been quite lucky to qualify always.
There's a great deal of sympathy from the top riders. Everyone gathers round the screen to see the top 6. Are you in or are you out? The body language says everything.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, you know, when other new Belgian teams going to the last chance, it's always nice to help them with something. So yeah, we go to look sometimes. Yeah, as many people know, I'm a personal trainer, and I train a lot of sidecar guys here. So every time there's someone in the last chance, so I try to push them then. But yeah, you cannot push them over the limits, and yeah, usually I go there.
Everybody knows that feeling of not making the cut, the disappointment, the heartache. Even Etienne Bax has been there.
I can tell you that this, for some teams it's a big struggle there, and they need to give it all to qualify, and they take high risk as well. So it's quite impressive to see, but you just don't want to be part of that.
Welcome back to PLOMION for round 6 of the World Sidecarcross Championship. It's race day, and what a day it was. The sun was blazing down, the crowds were here. in their hundreds, certainly early in the morning, and that would swell to many thousands as the day went on. This always a popular time with the fans. They get to meet the riders, they get to sign autographs. It's just the most amazing time. And then, of course, the riders' presentation, their hero, French champion Valentin Giraud. And look at the numbers of people around the paddock, just great. We're going to move off down, speak to young Arne Dierkens, number 10.
Yeah, we are happy with the speed. Yesterday we changed some things on the bike to test this morning, and it was good. So we took the first time, and we are ready for the 2 heats now. Yeah, it's one of the beautiful tracks in the world. I guess it's fast and nice jumps where you can fly really far and high, and just a bit of stones. That's difficult here, but the track crew did a good job, and the track is good. Yeah. It's always nice. Last year I rode here the French Championship, and then I had a big battle with Valentin Giraud, and then the crowd was going nuts. It was not for me, but it was for Valentin. But it's crazy to ride here. And yesterday also it was a battle with Marvin and Valentin, and then you see the crowd is going crazy. It's great to race here. Yeah.
Precise stuff is measuring up clutch plates. We're in the pit of Marvin van Leeuwen. What does he think about what's coming up?
Start is everywhere very important, so we hope we had a good start, and then we will see for the rest of the race. With this hot temperature, yeah, it will be a crazy race. We had some engine problems this morning, but everything is ready for the race, so yeah, we are ready for the battle. It's almost a home GP for us. It's only 190 kilometers from our home. It's always nice to have a lot of supporters, so it's again this weekend, so we will do our best for him.
Yeah, tense times, always the build-up before the 2 Grand Prix races, the all-important 30 minutes plus 2 laps twice. Unbelievably hard it was going to be in these conditions. A lot of meditation, a lot of thought given to what is coming up. The crowd psyching themselves up. The Italian there, Compilati, he and Chopin, they know there's serious work ahead of them. It's a big moment with the build-up ahead of these 2 races. A lot at stake. Everyone needs the points, even if you're reigning champion. There's a lot to go at here. These guys know it. Race 1, and it was unbelievably dusty as the 30 outfits left the line charging. There was a great big tumble right at the back of the pack. That was the number 52 of Bolliger and Shelbert. They were both up on their feet, but they wouldn't be in the points, of course. Whole shop kid Arne Dierkens made it through to lead the pack. Behind him was Sanders, then it was Compilati, then it was Gert van Verben, the number 14. Hermans was in there in 5th place as they went up the hill. Giraud had a good start. He was lying 5th or 6th. In fact, 6th it was the first time round. Him with the green handlebar covers over his levers there, lever protectors I suppose you could call it. But out in front it was Arne Dierkens and Robbie Bax. There were 2 distinct lines on that bottom corner. Wide in and fast out, tight in and slow out, and it was always a lottery as to which one you choose. Up to 5th place and charging, Marvin van Leeuwen, the number 1. They were in there. Dierkens was leading, Sanders was 2nd, Hermans was 3rd. Van Leeuwen quickly on the pace past Giraud and going. Leading the charge for the rest of the pack, Gary Moulds and Steve Kerwin, the number 32 yellow, first of the left-hand chairs. There's the second of the left-hand chairs, the cousins Kusch from Switzerland, the number 22 crew. As you heard in the Arne Dierkens interview, he was here racing in the French Championship a year ago, so he knows this circuit very well. And it is fast, it's spectacular, it's typically French, but it is very, very stony. And as we said during qualifying, you get one of those around the side of your ear, you know it's coming. Out in front, Dierkens and Robbie Bax. from Davy Sanders. Kern Hermans, though, and Nicolas Mousset moving through into second place over that jump away up the hill. The dust already beginning to build. It was watered somewhat overnight, but not exactly heavily. And where was Bax at this point? There was Bax. Bax and Stupilis, the number 82 with the pink shirts on the back of their shirts, should I say, not pink all over, because they're black, white and pink on the back. Had a dreadful start. They were down in 18th on the opening turn, so they're going to have to work for a living given the pace that Dierkens was setting at the front. Bax already up with Christoph Santomans and Kostas Beletskas and through on the inside, but at the front it was game on between Dierkens and Kern Hermans. Kern Hermans, Nicolas Mousset, number 2, already race winners this year. Arne Dierkens, for so many occasions we've seen him absolutely fly out of the gate and then fade slightly towards the end of the race, but he's looking good here. There's that diversity of line I was talking about, where the wide line is the fastest in and not always the fastest out. But this time, Herman's looking at the inside and getting the advantage. A little bit of a nudge on Robbie Bax, popping him back in the sidecar, but new race leader, it was Hermans and Mousset, the number 2 crew, at the front. If they'd managed to keep the thing going every single time, you know, they've had their fair share of incidents and mechanical problems. But Herman's definitely a huge riding talent, as indeed the couple behind them, the young Belgian and Robbie Bax, the Dutchman. Van Lukenen and Van den Bogart supreme in 3rd place at the moment. They were having a good ride, having fought up from 6th on the opening lap into 3rd. Staying ahead of Valentin Giraud and Andres Haller, who have got a huge following here. The crowd absolutely love him. Bax and Stupilis were making their way through, and they were right up with Van Verven and passed. But the battle between Van Lukenen and Giraud raged for 3rd place as Van Lukenen took a look over his shoulder. With good reason, as it turned out, because Giraud had a move on the inside, swept wide. Van Lukenen fought back, but the Frenchman was determined to have another go at Van Lukenen if it was at all possible. Well, you would, wouldn't you? Points were at stake. He was on home ground. He took the inside line, and this time he got ahead of Van Lukenen. Valentin Giraud, early last season, of course, that big accident damaging his passenger, his then passenger Elvis Muchenieks, who's made a very good recovery and is continuing to do so. So our best wishes continue to go to Elvis Muchenieks, and if you're watching this, Elvis, looking forward to seeing you back. Having said that, Andres Haller is doing a great job in your stead, and then the mechanical gremlins struck again. Hermans and Mousset were out with a mechanical problem and transpired clutch issues. We saw clutch plates being worked on in the garage of Marvin Van Lukenen. It's an important part. If you slip the clutch out of these turns, and that is the temptation, to slip the clutch out of the tight turns, then you are going to punish the clutch. Giraud then right up with Arne Dierkens, gave Robbie Bax a kiss as he went through, but he took the place, and that's Sidecar Motocross, no quarter asked, none given. It's a rough, tough sport. You've got to get past somewhere. This isn't the widest of tracks here in Plomion. And Giraud then, to the delight of the French crowd, was up one more place. Davy Sanders and Larry Kunas would be very much in the running because they go so fast. Kelly De Bruyne there, number 94, being relegated by Gert van Verven. Kurt Varrick and Loris Dieders, number 7. And Sanders going strongly in the front 4, as he so often does. Where was Bax? Waiting for Bax to come through. There was Van Verven. Bax and Stupilis having a terrific struggle to fight their way through. It's been very dusty further down the order. Number 7, Varrick and Dieders. If you're wondering where Daniel Willemsen is this weekend, well, let me tell you, in the Ukraine, he had a bust-up with his passenger, Luke Rostang. and they parted company, and Willemsen unable to find a passenger to come here to France. Word got round, and there was a bit of unrest in the Willemsen camp, so he's not here. Will he be at the next one in Estonia? Remains to be seen. Meanwhile, over the line then for victory, a fantastic win for Valentin Giraud and his passenger Andres Haller. From Dierkens, Van Lukener safely home in third. That will do nicely for him. Bax fought his way up to fourth place, but a long way down. These three were well away with it at the front. Confirmation then, the top 10 up there. Giraud from Dierkens and Robbie Bax. Van Lukener, Van den Bogart. Bax and Stupilis from 18th on lap 1 fought their way up to 4th. Sanders and Kunas consistently always there. But victory went to Giraud and Haller.
A good start, but not the best one. I think I was 4 or 5. And then at the beginning, I just followed the guy in front of me, and then just try to find a good rhythm in the race. And then I think we just was faster and faster during the race, and the other guy was maybe slower and slower. So yeah, we came back to them, we passed them fast, and we won the race, so it was a good race.
Well, good for him maybe, but certainly not for Koen Hermans. Fantastic lead, and then they need a new engine. Lots going on in their camp.
Yeah, the start it was not so bad. We took the third place with the start. Then we could pass Sanders and also Dierkens after some laps. Yeah, and then I think the gap was a little bit bigger and bigger. But yeah, then sometimes the gearbox was not working 100%, and yeah, then we go up and I was full gas, and the gearbox stopped, so I couldn't shift anymore. So it was over for us.
Well, I stand corrected. I thought it was clutch, but it transpired. Well, gearbox, clutch, all part of the transmission, of course. And if you've got a dodgy gearbox, then you could be hammering your clutch as well. If you're pulling a high gear, can't get the low gears. Anyway, Koen Hermans, it all came to nothing for him, but the pressure was on then for him to deliver, as indeed with all the others in race 2, which is coming up just round the corner. These guys knew it. It was hot, it was hard, it was fast. The crowd were fanatical, and the tension was building. Lots to go for, very focused. Race 2 was just around the corner. It was even hotter when race 2 got underway. An enormous amount of dust, 28 degrees ambient temperature, but race 1 winner Valentin Giraud and Andres Haller hit the front. Just look at those conditions behind them. How could you possibly race in that? Etienne Bax had a much stronger start. He was in third behind Marvin van Lukener, Ben van den Bogart. Hermans and Dierkens were side by side, 4th and 5th. I could see Stuart Brown in that mix as well. Stuart Brown had problems and did not finish in the first race. At the front, Giraud, Van Lukener going with him. These three then, now much closer this time, and Bax in with a real chance of not having to work quite so hard in these vile conditions. Up over the hill, Christophe Santemans, Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain at this moment in time sitting in about 5th place. Not having a good weekend in France so far, the British crew. Can they go one better this time? Bax and Stupilis, red plate, will they retain it? They need to retain it. Will Hermans keep going this time? Certainly, he's down there in 5th place at the moment with every chance of nailing Arne Dierkens. We know he's got the speed. Brown and Chamberlain went through, Santemans went through, Compilati very quickly strung out further down the order. Believe it or not, there were some boggy sections where the water had lain after the water cart had done its thing with the dust, but even then the dust was really kicking up, but there were some soft bits in the low areas. Meanwhile, Van Lukener knows, again that look over the shoulder. Van Lucana leading, Giro now in third place. So we have Van Lucana first, back Stupilis second, Giro Haller third, then it's Arne Dierkens in fourth, then it was Koen Hermans over the jump. Stuart Brown and Josh Millard, the best of the rest at this point, it has to be said, the first of the left-hand sidecars. Would they keep going? They desperately need points, otherwise their top 6 position in the standings very much at risk. Backs hard on the case of Marvin Van Lucana, and you can understand why Koen Hermans had gearbox problems. This is extremely punishing for the transmission on these bikes, leaping high and long and then coming down, and the hard terrain snatching at the transmission. I'm amazed they don't get more chain breakages as well. The battle at the front though was very much alive, with Bax looking at the inside. He's good there. He got the power down. He tucked on the inside of Van Lucana, took the lead. Dierkens saw that. He also will have clocked that there was an opportunity there. Giro and Haller, race 1 winners, were in 4th place at this stage in the race because the pace out at front was fierce. Hermans closing on the back of Valentin Giraud, and very shortly was to move ahead. Giraud then looking over the shoulder, wondering if there might be a threat coming, or would he maybe stage a recovery plan? Well, that would remain to be seen. He was certainly looking at all the options on the back of Koen Hermans, who now leads him. The heat and the stony conditions must have been really, really tough if you were further down the field. At the front, at least, they had a clear line of sight. There wasn't quite so much dust, although Valentin Giraud and Andres Haller found themselves getting more than their fair share of dust from the leaders at the front. And talking of leaders at the front, Koen Hermans closing down Marvin Van Lucana because Etienne Bax is now out in front and pushing hard. Race leaders Bax and Stupilis now with a commanding lead at the head of the pack. Hermans in the back of your picture there, fighting his way up in second place and pushing hard with Van Lucana and Van den Boogaard, the number 1. I won't say settling for third, but they know they're in third. Arne Dierkens and Robbie Bax in a strong 5th place. And then there was huge drama. We were into the last 2 laps when Ben Van den Boogaard parted company and Marvin Van Lucana's outfit somersaulted into the crowd, actually injuring a track marshal. The medical people were looking after him. We wish him well, and the news is that he will make a recovery. Meanwhile, the race went on. Van Lucana was out of it. Gert van Verven benefited from his misfortune. He and Peter Bunk, the number 14 crew, riding high and strong, and they would bring it home in 5th place, having been gifted that to a certain extent by the misfortune of Marvin Van Lucana. Both Van Lucana and Ben Van den Boogaard suffered minor injuries, facial injuries in the case of Van Lucana. He will be back for the next round in Estonia. Davy Sanders was going strong in 6th place as well, but out in front, Etienne Bax and Casper Stupilis brought it home to victory. Their red plate now much, much safer than when they arrived here. A fantastic second place for Hermans and Mousset, although they were some way back, some 12 seconds adrift at the finish. Giro and Haller, 3rd place for them, and they would get overall victory with that brilliant result on home soil for the Frenchman. Well, it doesn't get much better than that in your own backyard. Overall victory then for Giro. Bax, what a ride he had, particularly in race 1. He's 2nd overall. Dierkens, that's the podium. Van Verven rode well. Davy Sanders always can be counted on. Varick, Compilati and Santomans. Oh, there's been a huge crowd here. They really enjoyed it in wonderful conditions. It's podium time, third place for Arne Dierkens and Robbie Bax.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Everything was on point this weekend. We got a good start, a good feeling with Robbie. The mechanics worked their ass off and did a really good job. And to end this weekend on the podium, it's really great.
Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupelis, the red plate now safely in their hands. They fought hard, and what a result for them.
Yeah, I feel not so good because this is not the way we want to win always. And I did not see the crash. I see when we passed there, and I see that it's not good. So hopefully the guys are fastly back on the bike and can they compete again. Of course we are first in the standings still. With that I'm very happy, but I don't want to win like this. I'm a real competitor and I want to win the fight and not the luck. The heat was not the big problem, but just the track. The track is not my type of track, so it was. I'm struggling quite a lot here normally, and second motor the start was quite okay. We was position 3 I think with the start, and we could climb to the front and felt good while riding, and luckily we could win the race, and that was a good end of the weekend.
And a great end of the weekend on home soil for Valentin Giraud and Andres Haller. What a result in your home Grand Prix for the Frenchman and his German passenger.
I got the all shot. I did the job actually because the start is very important. But the first laps I was not in the good rhythm. I did a lot of mistakes, and then I say okay, cool down and be more focused, follow. That's what I did, and I passed Dierkens and I closed the gap with some guy for finish 3. So I also think about the GP and not only the races, and actually I did the best way.
It's just amazing. I'm so stoked to win this whole GP with the first heat race in Spain already, and today again the first race we win. Now the overall is just amazing. I'm so happy about that. It's what I always wanted, and now I had it, and it's also kind of home GP, not for me but for the team, and it's just an amazing feeling with this big crowd and with everyone here. It's so nice.
What a brilliant young man, but there you have it then, the championship standings. Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupelis, the red plate firmly in their hands. 25 points now, the advantage over Marvin van Luken. In third, it's Hermans Muset. Sanders still fourth, Dierkens fifth. Giraud now 1-6-2, just 8 points behind Dierkens. He's done himself a power of good this weekend. Brown dropping backwards, another retirement in race 2. What a bad weekend for Stuart Brown. Well, from me, Barry Nutley, hope you enjoyed round 6 here in Plomion. We are live for the next one in Estonia, Kivioli. Join us, watch us on the website. Don't go away, it's the best sport in the world.
We never stop, still going when you finish. And even when we bleed, still believe that we can win this. We got what's underneath, you're all about that image. We never even stop at the top, no limits. Champions, and we're the champions. And we're the champions. And we're the champions. So bring it on.
Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupelis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Luken certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.